Hey, did any of y'all feel like that, I don't know, over the last year or so, maybe going back to like last September, whatever, that you start to feel a little crazy? Like things ain't right. The weird things happening that just normally don't happen. And it don't feel right when those things happen. You know, it's kind of like you watch it happen and you're like, that wasn't right. There was something wasn't right about that right there. It didn't look right. And it didn't feel right. It's like watching like the WWE, you know, formerly known as the WWF. And you got these fellers out there just scrapping it out in the middle of the ring, and ain't nothing wrong with them. But some dude flies out the ring and he's fine, and then he sticks his head underneath the ring, and when it comes back, his face is all bloodied up. It's like, dude, don't do that. Don't do that. I've seen that happen time and time again to fellers just like you down there. They're fine, stick the head under the ring, and your face is all bloodied up. It's obvious there's a Tasmanian devil down there trying to eat your face off, okay? Now stop it, and you'll be fine. You might win this fight. You stop sticking your face down there, you know? It's like watching something like that, or like a 1980s action film, you know? Look, it's like, man, I don't know why you just fell down. That guy missed you by like a foot, okay? Unless his punch was so hard, the wind off of it just knocked you down and blacked your eye. That right there looked like it didn't happen, you know, or like, you know, the lips not moving with the words or something like that. You know, everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kicks were fast as lightning, you know, like that. That's what it kind of feels like, you know. B grade at best, you know. It don't seem like it was actually really rehearsed real well, and we're supposed to believe it, you know. And then you're told, well, if you believe what you think you're believing, you're crazy, you know. But then if you don't believe it, you feel crazy, you know. So the whole lot of that stuff going on is what I'm saying. And ever since last year, it's been that way, you know, with the thing that happened then, and then the other thing that happened in November didn't feel right. Now then, these things that have been happening, none of it feels right, and it seems a bit unprofessionally did in a way. And then I'm still supposed to believe on it, you know. Well, all that craziness got me to feeling like and contemplating on and getting up in my brain bucket and thinking, you know, if I was a dead man and I was living, I don't know, in the Bahamas or something like that, and I truly did love my kids a lot. I want to see my kids, but I'm a dead man in the Bahamas. You know, I'd still want to see them. You know, whatever kind of deal that I made to be a dead man, that would be included in the deal. It's like I still want to see my kids. I love them, you know. So while I was down there, you know, Elvis Presleying it up or Tupacing it up, you know, whichever one you want to be at the time. While I was down there doing that, I'd still want to see them. And so if I was paparazzi'd up now, if I was paparazzi'd up, professionalized paparazzi'd, I'd want to go see if there's a dead man living in the Bahamas or something like that, you know. And I think the way I'd do it, I'd paparazzi up. I would follow the kids now, not in a white van or nothing like that, nothing creepy, but I would follow them, you know, at a distance, you know, respectfully, you know, super respectfully, super duper respectfully. What I'm saying, you can paparazzi up on some kids. I've seen it done before, right? The paparazzi watched Michael Jackson hold his kid from a balcony, okay? So it can be done, what I'm saying. Anyway, I'd paparazzi up, and I'd go see if them kids went to go talk to their dead daddy down in the Bahamas or wherever it might be. You know, that's what I would do if I was paparazzi'd up, because you'd have the biggest story of the century if you found that out, you know, because the more I look on situations like that, the more I'm like, I'm expected to believe this stuff, you know, which saying they're telling me, we expect you to be as batshit crazy as the people that are trying to make you believe this, you know. I don't want to feel that way no more. You know, I don't like it. I don't like the feeling. But there's just certain things, like the dude that supposedly did the thing. Now, come to find out, he's partially paralyzed in one leg. You can't be partially paralyzed in one leg and then go run and leap off of a building and land it like you're the $6 million man. You know, you can't do that stuff. And then there's all kind of other stuff, you know. I don't really want to get into that just don't add up. What I'm saying, a lot of all of it adds up. None of it adds up. That's what I meant to say. But anyway, I'm just saying, am I crazy? Because it does make me feel a little bit crazy to question this stuff, because I'm like, man, that would take a lot of gonads to try to pull something like that off. But then I look around and I'm like, well, there's a whole bunch of Christian nationalists that it's all or nothing for them right now. And then there's another big orange bloated syphilis up Adderall riddled idiot lingering around that's all or nothing for that feller too. I mean, there's a whole lot of all or nothing going around, that desperate times call for desperate measures is what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying it feels so funny. It feels so weird. And I don't want people thinking I'm crazy, because normally I don't like to buy into this stuff. But I also ain't stupid, so I look at this stuff from different perspectives, different lenses and stuff like that, try to figure this stuff out, and what I'm left with is I'm feeling like I don't know the whole story. I feel like there's a whole lot of this story that's untold, and you know what? I want to be told, and now the rest of the story. I want to be all Paul Harvey'd up is what I wanted. I want to be Paul Harvey'd up right now, and I want somebody to tell me, and now the rest of the story. That's what I want right now. I want the rest of the story, because I feel like we ain't getting that by a whole lot of stuff. This and that and the Epstein stuff and all of that stuff. And look, MAGA Team Taco, I think you can get on board with me, right? Can't you? I mean, can't we agree on anything at all? That we don't like being lied to our faces. We don't like being pitted against one another by doing some fakery to try to start ginning up some sort of war between us. We don't need that. We don't need all that war stuff whenever we're being played by a bunch of people that are just wanting nothing but pure power. Okay, we don't want that, MAGA. All right, you don't want it and we don't want it. I think that we ought to be starting to hone in on some common enemies together. I think that's what we should do. What do you think? Inmate Trump.